Won't buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability. RTD Live Talk. It's Thursday night, the 11th day of the month of October. We're live. Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. Welcome. And so last night took the night off, and so I figured tonight will be a great night to stream before the weekend comes because there's so much stuff happening, and more importantly, as you can tell from the title, talking about stocks, metals, and Mr. West. And so I've actually watched several clips throughout the day on Mr. West at the White House, and you know, I got a lot of mixed thoughts, so I want to find out what you guys think about that, and you know, just basically get an idea of where we're at currently because there's so much division right now in our country, and Mr. West is not helping, but yet it's something different. He's being himself, so I want to find out what you guys think about that. So as always, if we have any new viewers, let me know where you're watching us from, where you're tuning in from. So the whole goal tonight is to give you, the audience, a chance to share what's on your mind. What do you think about Mr. West? What do you think about the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and heard even the stock market in India took a dive and Europe having some problems? So, yeah, let me know what's going on, people. How's everybody doing tonight? player. The New York Redneck. How you doing, my friend? Richard, what's up? I got work at 4 a.m. I need to rethink my dollars on the ride. Be with you, brother. Yeah, my friend. Have a good evening. Have a good evening. Sleep tight. And also get your thoughts on the video I did yesterday about the recession. And so, you know, I combed through several articles, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure if this is like, you know, the ideal consensus, but it seems like the year 2020 is a year that every economist, commentator, market analyst, you name it, anybody talking about the current financial system, throwing out the year 2020 as if like there's some type of formula to where that has to be the year. And the way things have been shaking out over the last 48 hours, I believe, you know, we're a lot more susceptible to having something happen, hell, by the end of this year, if not like the end of this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, man, because it's, I bet you a lot of people who have their entire lives invested in the markets are paying attention. You know, some people are looking at it as like the temporary, you know, volatility that happens in the stock market, but then others like, you know, hold on, something's not right. There's no clear signs of anything happening that will lead me to believe that there's a reason for this 2 days in a row, unless you know some things and other people don't. More than likely, the mainstream media, they just basically tell a story after the fact, but there's people on the inside that know what's going on. It says, who was that? Shrek the org, some numbers, he in number binary. Shrek, what do you mean, my friend? What is all that? Shane, what's up with that? I'm not sure what those numbers mean. Give me some insight as to what you guys are talking about, because you guys talking numbers don't really make sense to me right now. But what's your thoughts? What Shane? What are your thoughts about the whole Dow Jones and the stock market dips or whatnot? Is it something that's going? Are we going to feel it again tomorrow or not? That's what I'm curious to find out. And then also, what's your thoughts on Mr. West? And so I've actually, you know, before I went live, I was putting together a little clip of some of the highlights from that interview. Of course, it's, you know, 30 minutes long, so I'm sure I probably didn't get the best ones, but it's what the mainstream media chose to focus on. So that's what I had to grab. Shane is trolling. It's okay, you know. If you have time to troll, you obviously had nothing else better to do with yourself. Might as well stick around and enjoy us a little bit. Bless us with your presence, Mr. Shane, if that is the case. I don't know. but it's all good. Shrek the org. Okay, that's fair enough. It must be bored. That's all right. I mean, a lot of people this time ain't got nothing to do with themselves. So what better else to do but other than troll and scroll around and try to find something to get into? It takes energy to troll. If you ain't got nothing to do with your life, hey, welcome. He's singing. Okay, that's fair enough. But anyway, I'm trying to find out what's happening out here. The number above my head, 1-833 live RTD. Call in if you have something you want to share, and we can keep this thing moving. It says crypto's got hammered in latest stock market correction. Imagine what will happen to them when we have a full-blown collapse of the stock market. Brendan, very good point, man. And that's the thing where I was thinking, like, it appears to be, and of course, the older financial instruments in the form of the bond market, everybody knows what's happening there. And then you have the stock market. We're experiencing that now. And it will only be right if the manipulators that are in control of all the digital and paper-based products, have to make the cryptos go down as well, because they couldn't stay, even or rally a little bit in the midst of, the 100+ year Dow Jones fluctuating. They need everything to look like it's going down. But for whatever reason, they couldn't stop the price of silver and gold today, which gave people a little bit of confidence. So with that being the case, I imagine a couple people probably acquired some metals. And actually, I myself was looking out for you guys. And so, we know we got the whole campaign here, Get Your Weight Up. And by the way, I missed a call. I apologize, call back again. And so we have the Get Your Weight Up campaign. And so I'm working with, don't want to talk too soon, but I'm working with a company to try to promote the Get Your Weight Up aspect in regards to being able to sell at a little bit of a discounted rate to those that are interested in getting their weight up. So stay tuned for that one, because it definitely will be something that will be a blessing to you if you choose to get your weight up a little bit more. So, but it will be fun though, definitely. It's going to be fun to be able to accumulate, to stack a little more at a discount, So if you guys want to get down, stay tuned. It will be fun. It says a Dow is subjective value assessment. Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And the fact that what really got me going is the fact that the stock market has turned into what I call earlier more of a gambling than actually investing, because it's changed a lot since the days of old where you actually had a certificate saying you own XYZ stock. Now it's like you own shares, but you don't know how many people own that same particular share. So that's a gamble in of itself, but we'll keep it moving. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Silver Star, and I'm calling from Las Vegas, Nevada. Silver
Star, how are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you doing? You're looking good. You're still hitting the gym, huh?
I try. I try. Thank you. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I actually wanted to share some information. Mm-hmm. I'm a long-time viewer.
Yeah.
And I've been tuning in. Well, I mean, I don't know what long time is for, but a year easy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I recall the name, so I appreciate you calling in. And this might be the first time or maybe the second time I think you called in, I think.
Right. The first time I was totally psyched. I had it all over my Facebook page and everything. Yeah.
well, welcome back again. And so, yeah, share with me what's on your mind tonight. What's your thoughts about the metals, the stock market, Kanye West? What do you think about all that?
Did you say Kanye West?
Yes. So, are you familiar with that? What happened today with rapper, hip-hop artist meeting with our president?
Right. The last I saw that was when he said he had another meeting scheduled with him. Well,
okay, so that happened so today he met tonight, whatever, he met with our president, and it was very entertaining, and so it was different, and so it just left me a little bit like, whoa, let me present this to everybody tonight and see what their thoughts are. So, but whatever else is on your mind, feel free to share it.
Well, yeah, so far as Kanye, yeah, I'm aware that he's utilized to speak with us,
mm-hmm.
by Trump and by, political leaders. I was aware that they do use him to communicate with us. I'm not really quite sure why or what's going on with that, because I don't put a whole lot of stock in anything that he says.
Yeah.
But, Actually, I called in to let the other viewers know because I was talking to a friend of mine, and she wasn't aware that in so far as the stock market, like that dip that happened yesterday.
And today a little bit from what I heard. I didn't pay attention to it, but I heard it was 2 days of somewhat of negative. So
Yes. Well, the market is going to have those corrections. However, to help protect from that, the FDIC does protect your principal investment. So the principal is whatever you start out with, right?
And so are we talking about your principal in regards to your investments, or because the FDIC is solely for the banking institution with your savings, deposits, CDs, and mutual money fund accounts? Those are only 4 or 5 things they protect insurance-wise, and that's to be questioned fully. So is that what you're referring to?
I'm referring to just if you have an account with the stock market, your initial investment, your principal, your principal is whatever you start out with, but also say you start out with $100 and now it's $150. So that principal, they will protect that principal. And the way that you can say, well, hey, what if I started out with $100 and now I have $1,000? What you can do is you can just roll that over to another account, and then that entire $1,000 is your principal, and you can roll over as many times as you need to.
Okay.
So
that's
one.
Yes.
That's one part of it that I just wanted to remind the viewers of, that they will protect your principal. The other thing is that in addition to that, it doesn't cost anything to go into the bank and tell them that you want to set up a trust, and you can put your investments under a trust.
Okay, now in reference to your comment about the FDIC protecting your investments, and so to my knowledge, and I actually typed in what does the FDIC insure, and based upon the information here, I don't see anything about investments. And so it says the SIPC protects investments in stocks, bonds, options, treasury securities, and CDs. But the FDIC, I believe, and from my knowledge, is the banking industry, not necessarily your stock portfolio, because I'm not sure if the letters you get home in regards to your total portfolio holdings. In those small print, it says results may be due to market corrections, whatever. So I don't think if there was a market crash, if you had $100 or $1 million in there, you're going to get $1 million covered via insurance, because there's $28 trillion in the stock market right now in retirement portfolios, and the FDIC doesn't have $28 trillion. So I'm not sure they would be fully able to back that 100%.
Right, a crash, no.
Yeah.
A crash like 1928, no.
Yeah.
But a dip like that, a correction that happened like yesterday, then yes.
Okay. So so I imagine if it's a small dip, no one's panicking, no one's looking to go withdraw and cash in everything. But if there was a correction, like a lot of commentators say will happen or will occur again, then at that point I think it's every man and every woman for themselves, because you're investing at the risk of not, So, but thanks for sharing that, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that, and just for like something that happened like for the last few days,
Yeah.
And also the whole thing with the crypto market. I think that the next bull run that happens, it's not going to be like the one in 2017. It's not just going to be like, oh my goodness, everybody's going to just realize that it's Bitcoin's having this huge massive run up, and everybody's jumping on board. I think that it's going to just be a couple of small run-ups, and then all of a sudden you're just going to realize, hey, we're in another bull run. So it's just going to be sort of like you're going to just have to already be in place. So anybody that's thinking about acquiring some Bitcoin or Ethereum, then they might want to do it soon, because I don't think it's going to be as easy to time the next the next bull
Right.
run.
Right.
And
Yeah.
speaking of that, the whole thing with Ethereum that I'm hoping happens is that the CBOE announces that they're going to start the trading the Ethereum futures this year. I hope that and then that'll do a lot of amazing things for the price of Ethereum.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'm really concerned about, what's going to happen with the price of Ethereum.
Yeah, I think no matter what, at the end of the day, when we're looking at what's happening on a grander scale, I don't really see cryptocurrencies like disappearing, and so I think it's going to be a matter of people getting out of their currencies and flooding into cryptos, which will keep their price valuations probably a little bit on the high side. So at the end of the day, when everything takes place, I think it's going to be a currency issue we're facing where people are going to want to run somewhere, and metals, of course, is obvious, but yet on the speculative side, people are going to run the cryptos as well. So I don't think Ethereum is going to go to zero before the dollar will. But that's just my opinion. So, yeah, but we'll see.
And with the metals, I'm with you 100%. The only problem I have with my metals is that I already decided in my mind that I'm never going to cash them in, right? I'm never going to do anything with them. So it's just like wealth for my children,
Yeah. It's
whereas like at least my crypto or something, I can say, well, one day I'll buy some land with some crypto, or you know what I mean? Or, so, but yeah, metals are the way to go. I mean, and something interesting that I read recently, that Indian housewives have 11% of all of the gold that we've unearthed.
I don't doubt it. I had a Gus really understood anything about the history of gold and silver, they would know that that's where you should be at. And he's like, you'll never have to worry about the Indian population because they know what the deal is. So they are sitting on the largest, savings accounts unprecious, especially on Mr. Kanye West. And so I'm assuming by now everybody had to have heard about it or whatnot because it's all on all the mainstream news channels. And, I figure if you haven't, I'll share a little information with you. I'll put together a little sound bite and I'll share it with you. And so someone says Kanye West has been disowned by the black community. And so y'all disowned. I personally don't think he's been disowned. I think that he is clearly not in his best frame of mind. But yet, this whole season of the last 2 years of having a new administration who doesn't play by the rules according to the way things have always been done. It's in that season, man. Like we seem to be in a season of just. I wouldn't say about identity crisis as a country, but yet we are being challenged on every front, politically, socially, financially right now. So everybody right now is up in arms, or not up in arms, but everybody right now is not. Yeah, it's a lot of problems, especially if you look at all the stuff coming out from the Democratic Party, where it seems to be they're talking more, get physical. You got to be more aggressive with this Republican stuff. So it's all this Republican Democrat stuff back and forth. We're right now we're walking on thin ice as far as there being some type of really divisive something or another that takes place in our country that causes either to be a race war, political war, financial. The temper is very hot right now in this country, and having a president in office that doesn't follow by the rules, has not helped. But shakeup is what's needed, obviously, because it's apparent that change can be divisive. That's basically what's happening right now, I believe. So I don't fault Mr. Kanye West. He has a voice. He has a right to speak it. And if President Trump, whether he's using them or not, gives it to him, hey, more power to him. So, and then as far as I was thinking about earlier, if I had a choice, if you can only choose one or two, especially in the African American community, Mr. Al Sharpton has been so-called the voice of the African American community, and when he speaks, he only shows up when it's a racial issue, predominantly between a white officer killing a black child or something of that nature. Then Al Sharpton's the first one in line, speaking on behalf of everybody in the country, supposedly. But yet, to me, he's an embarrassment, man, because he only shows up when it's a white on black crime, but never shows up in the inner cities where it's happening the most. The black on black crime or just gun violence in general. And he's always the first one at the podium to give a speech. That's not representative of the black community to me at all. So the fact that Kanye out here talking off his marbles, I'll let him rant all he want. It says Sharpton is an agent. None of them follow the rules. Yeah, they all out there, man, on their own. And so, but what it's showing us, and I believe, is that everyone has the right to step up and to share their opinions and to let their voice be heard. Everyone, for the most part, everyone has a platform to speak on or speak through, whether it be just you and your friends, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be the White House and the Oval Office, cussing and doing everything he's doing. We all have something to say. Let your voice be heard. Like the days of shutting up and letting people make decisions for you are done, because we've been shown that if we let political figures of their own will and own agendas make decisions, you see what happened to our country right now, how divided it is and how financially the monetary system is very fragile. So, yeah. What else we got here? It says, for themselves. It says, Kanye took the red pill years ago. I don't see anyone by their color, only by their mental maturity and critical thinking. Man, Jesse, I agree 100%. I mean, I never took a bite out of the whole color, pill in the first place. So, when I see good or evil. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I see those that do work for the Lord and those that don't. Those that gratify the flesh, those that work to please the spirit. So, Kanye West, wherever he's at spiritually, he has a voice. Let him do him. He's not hurting anybody who's sharing his opinions. And he actually made a couple good points in the in the rant he had with President Trump. But the sound bites I pulled off the internet, I'm sure it doesn't do him justice, but I put it together. I'm going to share in a minute for those that may not have seen it. It says, racism is big business for some people. Al makes a nice profit from stirring the pot. Yeah, he makes a nice little chunk of change, and he got a talk show, I think on the weekends or something like that. And I heard he had some tax problems, a couple $1 million that I guess got wiped away, or they didn't bother to press him for it because he decided to play along and be cooperative to the powers that be, I believe. I said only one color is money. Reverend Ike. Drody, how you doing, my friend? It's pathetic. I do agree 100%. I do agree 100%. So since I put it together, I'm going to go ahead and play this little sound bite so you can see some of the footage the mainstream media decided to share. And of course, it's the portion that doesn't probably do him justice, but yet it's very entertaining. I thought I would just put it together at the last minute. So check this out.
If he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president. He has to be the freshest, the flyest planes, the best factories, and we have to make our core be empowered. We have to bring jobs into America. I don't answer questions in simple sound bites. You are tasting a fine wine. It has multiple notes to it. The liberal will try to control a black person through the concept of racism because they know that we are very proud, emotional people. So when I said I like Trump to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist. You think racism can control me? Oh, that don't stop me. That's an invisible wall. Would you build a trap door that if you mess up and you accidentally something happens, you fall and you end up next to the Unabomber? Trump is on his hero's journey right now, and he might not have expected to have a crazy like Kanye West. It was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman.
West repeatedly slapping the historic Resolute desk.
Manufacturing.
Freestyling by our count on more than 40 topics.
What I think is we don't need sentences, we need pardons. It's a hydrogen-powered airplane, and this is what our president should be flying in. Look at this shirt. If he don't look good, we don't look good.
A presidential invitation intended to focus on social issues with a superstar ambassador. The surreal scene, a mutual admiration society.
Let me give this guy a hug right here. I love this guy right here.
So there we have it. That's some news clips from today's meeting for those that may not have a chance to see it. But, a lot of things, he touched on one or two things that I heard about after the fact that I thought was well worth commenting on tonight. And there's a quote that Mark Dice placed on his Twitter account, and it was quoting Kanye West, and it said that it was something like the only reason black folks are Democrats is because of welfare. The welfare system, the fact that they're dependent upon the government, and who's been known to be generously giving away free stuff? The Democratic Party. And so when Mark Dice quoted him saying that, I'm like, wow, I didn't, I wish I'd have heard that. So I'm sure out of that 30-minute rant, he probably dropped 2 or 3 things that was well worth mentioning. When it talked about guns in Chicago, he said that the Second Amendment gives us our rights to carry guns. It's the people who have guns illegally are the ones that should be under scrutiny, not the people who legally and lawfully have theirs. So that was something that I was like, hey, my man, speaking some truth there. So yeah, so he's not too far gone. He's just, if he probably conformed to a more politically correct posture with a suit and tie on and say those same things, I'm sure we wouldn't be saying he's off his rockers. I'm sure of that. So what else I'm missing? It said, in the South, Louisiana, people are mixing every day. Saw a 60-year-old white grandpa pushing his black grandchildren in shopping basket yesterday. Most racism is on fake news to control the masses. Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Says, question, did you read the article where Toys R Us is trying to make a comeback? I did not read the article, Philman, but I saw an article I didn't actually go into it. What was some of the nuts and bolts of it? Let us know in the comment section. It says, why didn't Obama invite West? Obama didn't invite West just because of that same thing. Obama had an image to maintain, and he was known as the people's president for the most part, so everybody was in love with him, and he positioned himself to be politically correct in every fashion. He couldn't afford to have nothing like that tarnish his reputation. Whereas in Trump, on the other hand, Trump don't give a damn just because he don't really need this for the most part. Like, yeah, and that's another thing that makes it interesting because he's off the cuff. He's doing whatever he wants to do because to him, in his mind, he's a boss. He's been a boss 20, 30 years. He owns stuff. He has a different mentality than prior presidents who came in as employees. Every president, for the most part, give or take Bush and Clinton, they probably had those, what I'm saying. But Trump is a boss. So his mindset thinks like everybody's beneath me type of mindset, which is not right. But he's not concerned with his what people thinks about him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Obama would have never done that. It says Chicago problem is nobody can have a legal gun, so everybody is helpless. Kevin, really, I'm not sure if I knew about that one. So yeah, if you are not allowed to have a gun legally in Chicago, then you are up a creek without a paddle because everybody around you will definitely have a gun. And so yeah, that is something different. I know about that one, I don't think. I'm the only thumbs up. Yeah, people, if you own tonight, and if you want to, if you feel the subject matter is worthy of a thumbs up, give it to me, but I don't want to beg for a thumbs up. It's always good to find out who's enjoying the show or whatnot. And also it helps, new viewers come into the mix. It says you have to wait 6 to 8 weeks for a firearm because of the red tape. Really? 6 to 8 weeks. That is interesting. And so has it always been that way is the question. Has it always been that way? It says UCAN Chicago versus Otis. I don't know if I read that right. Let me pull it up here. So look at the Democrats' reaction. It shows who they really are. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I saw an excerpt from CNN earlier that someone chopped up like a 50-second take, and it was 4 or 5 black panelists talking about this Trump matter on CNN, and one of the young ladies, and I'm thinking, it really hit me hard. Like, man, that's just wrong. Like, despite political issues, she basically said that Kanye West, is a I'm not even I don't want to say it, but she basically said that Trump is treating him or portraying him to be the typical token N-word. And so I'm like, huh? And she said that on national television. I'm thinking like, man, politics really can cause some problems because, it's bad when you hate on another person, period. But when you hate on someone in your own skin color because of different political views, like, man, like I would hope that politics wouldn't come between people in general, but nevertheless your own kind. But dang, that was cold-blooded to me. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like most people, someone said the KKK equals Democratic Party. Yeah, like if you look back in history, especially in the earlier days of this century or the prior century, the Democratic Party was predominantly, Ku Klux Klan members. I mean, the Democratic Party was, responsible for wanting to maintain slavery. The Republicans wanted to free slaves back in the 1800s amongst the Whig parties and all that stuff like that. But yeah, so people don't really know that it's been reversed. And it's all a psyop game. It's all like a mental game that they play on the public's being uninformed and uneducated on matters such as our nation. So as this matter, it says the new Communist Party. Blue, that's a good point, man. Because with that young lady, Ortega, out in New York, apparently President Obama gave her his thumbs up or a sign of approval. And everything she speaks is about big government, the government. I'm thinking like, ooh, that sounds pretty socialist to me. Never about, the people. So I'm thinking like, clearly, by 2020, I think the Democratic Party, especially if they don't get the House or the Senate coming up in another month, they're gonna go on an all-out socialist parade, trying to do everything they can to really derail everything that's been done now, but also anything that's gonna be done between now and that presidential election. And they're going to do it by basically catering towards the desires of the public. Especially if we happen to have some type of financial hiccup between now and 2020, like people saying, what better way to get votes other than say that we're gonna give you, universal basic income. Everybody will have a job. Everybody, we're gonna do this for you. We're gonna do this for you. And sure enough, if people are hurting enough, they're going to go for that rhetoric and the fact that what the Democratic Party can do for them, or they might even rebrand their name in general and go with something like the new People's Party or something like that. Because they always tell you the opposite of what they're actually going to do when they name something or give some type of legislation or something like that. So you got to put kids to sleep. Good night. All right, have a good night. Appreciate you for tuning in. It says what else? One phoenix bird with two heads. One phoenix bird with two heads. What are we talking about there? They still got slavery going. Very true, Gerald. We're still, I believe, slavery is still existent. It's just in a different form. And so it's no longer with balls and chains around our wrists and ankles. It's from our pockets. And so the idea that a single entity controls the money supply and everything around finance, that is slavery, because what we're working for is owned by the banks. So the banks are the the plantation owners of this country, because politicians even take orders from the financiers and the bankers. Says, got that right, Jordy. I'm not affiliated with either party. Trickery, yeah, that's the bad part about it. That is a very bad part about it. So that it's happening now as young people, as the letters are hating profit, success, and free speech. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. People, the young generation, they don't know history, and the history they do know has been altered to where they don't know they're signing away their freedom. They are giving away their freedom. It says Mike, Toys R Us. Was that look up? Was that a thumbs up? Maybe look up. To film, and it says they are rebranding as the Toy Box. They will start online and reopen brick and mortar stores. I think they will go bankrupt and close again. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, all they're selling is toys. It's too much competition out there. Unless they plan on trying to outdo Amazon. Amazon has online on locks. Walmart has retail stores on locks. And so everything's going to boil down to Walmart and Amazon in the days ahead. We all going to be reduced to just two primary stores, Amazon and Walmart. And then Amazon now is in the whole food business, so we're going to get our food from Amazon. So it's good to say Walmart got to do something in that same regards to do some smaller cashless stores. And yeah, it's all one big monopoly, man. They are in control of everything. It says, hey, thumbs up the video. It says, what else we got here? I'm missing some things. It says, a family 100 beast system. Says, growing up in a communist country, people would give their arm and a leg to go to the Western Europe or America and work to have a profit and be able to buy basic things without waiting in lines. Yeah, growing up in a communist country. What country are you referring to, Blue? Yeah. That's a very good point there. Jennifer says kids aren't playing with toys like they are anymore. It's all electronics. Exactly. And that's a very good point. Toys right now aren't really hitting it. A kid, you know, and here's another thing. I might as well mention it because it bothers me, but as a parent, I fall victim to it. How many parents out here that's probably watching right now, to help your kid calm down or to give you some peace and quiet, you allow your kid to pick up the phone or the tablet and just watch a YouTube video, a cartoon, or play a game with your phone. And so if we have any parents out there that defer to electronics to help their kids calm down, settle down, whatever, that right there is a primary example of why kids no longer have toys. And so it's going to be, we're going to find out how this technology is hindering our mental health down the line. Patrick, how you doing, my friend? Says, I found an interview clip the other day of Mike Tyson talking about the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and their control of the system. Shortly after that, he spoke out. They destroyed his career. Yeah. If anybody with a prominent voice speaks up and it helps educate the minority, in that case there, you know, because people, Mike Tyson at that time, I'm sure, he don't say much. And his voice is very raspy and funny for the most part. So you probably want to laugh at him. But when he gets serious and it was to kick some knowledge in reference to how and who controls the system, people will listen. And so that poses as a threat. John Roberts said, great, Mike, to see you keeping it coming steady. Yes, I appreciate it, my friend. Thanks. So there are empty lots where people are planting large gardens. What is that one? He says, what's up, everyone? John, how you doing, my friend? John, I got a question for you. And this came to me today. And so if you want to respond, you can feel free to call in. But I was thinking about how the majority of people, for the most part, are really pushing Litecoin as a payment coin. And so one of the thoughts I had in reference to is could Litecoin as of this current moment be the best payment coin in general, given the fact that there's no privacy to it? And so does that bother or does that hinder the further development of Litecoin when, according to your address, you can track and see the quantity, how much to whom is sent, apart from not knowing who they are, but the fact that you can see on the public ledger where and how much goes where. Does that really make it a viable medium of exchange that people should have confidence in using, because you can actually see into, you know, the balances of certain wallet addresses or whatever? So I'm curious to find out, John, what your thoughts are on that. Just because I'm thinking like it'd probably best to have the initial coin that becomes mass adoption through payment purposes, that it has a privacy feature to it. So with that being the case, I would love to find out what your thoughts are. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Oops, wrong one. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Johnny Litecoin from New Jersey.
John, how you doing, my friend?
How's it going?
I'm doing good, buddy. What's up with you tonight? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I had to call in. I had to actually turn the show off because I was watching it from my phone. But
yeah.
I answered a Litecoin question for you. So I don't think it's an issue when you could see where the transactions go. If anything, right now, the fact that it's available for everybody to see is actually somewhat of a good thing, because you can troubleshoot any transaction instantly. In other words, there's no questioning it if you sent me money. And like say I don't see it and I'm like, hey, Mike, where did the money go? Can you send me the transaction ID? And then I immediately can look it up on that public ledger. So I don't think it's an issue right now. I think in the future you are right that it'll kind of get to a point where, hey, we need more privacy. But like I said, we got plans for that. So the privacy's coming. We just need more integration into the main system, and then we'll push the privacy thing forward.
Yeah, good point there. Good point there. Now, because I was thinking the other day that, you know, of course, the big push, and of course, I'm a Litecoin supporter. I long-term fan of Litecoin, but I'm thinking like, would that be the best option right away? Given the fact that privacy is an issue and the fact that the banking sector won't be too happy if people choose to use Litecoin or any other coin over legal tender. And so they might try to crack down or whatever, and then people are going to want some privacy because they don't want people to see what they're doing. So, but yeah, so how much longer do you think before that type of feature is included into Litecoin?
I'd say within the next probably within the next 2 to 3 years, you'll see some major privacy things come out. The thing that makes it right now so good and makes it like the main payments coin is that it's very liquid. It's available on all the exchanges, especially on all the easy to use ones. So like most people into crypto, they're not really going to get past like Coinbase or maybe like the Abra app. Like they need to keep things basic. So Litecoin's very easy to just get in and out of like fiat currency if you need to. So for that fact, it definitely makes it good for transferring that value back and forth.
Yeah, good point. Now let me ask you your thoughts. So the nice topic, we're talking about the dips in the stock and the increase, a little small spike in metals, as well as Mr. Kanye West on the political side of things. What are some of your thoughts on those issues? Anything stands out?
Well, I think the interest rate's going to keep going up, and you're going to see the stock market keep falling. They're going to keep raising rates, so I think these are like little tremors maybe before you see like a big crash. The Fed's supposed to raise rates again. So I definitely, I think, hey, it's nice to see gold. Gold went up, like $35 an ounce today, so that's definitely a nice thing to see.
Yeah.
So, I think it worries me right now that not enough people are going to think to run to cryptos, especially in America, because they don't really understand what it is. So I feel like, cryptos are going to get hurt when the stock market goes down, just for like temporarily, and then they'll quickly reverse course because, a lot of this is affected by right now speculative traders. So if the stock market goes down, it could temporarily affect crypto, but the whole thing is crypto moves down and up much faster because it's such a newer market. So I think then keep your eyes out. If you see the market crashing, if crypto drops, it'll be some really good buying opportunities.
Yeah. Now another question, so since I have you on here, what are your thoughts about Bitfinex and Tether and the banking situation they're having, and so I guess they're halting withdrawals or maybe deposits for the supposedly the week or something like that. Do you think they're about to fold, and if that goes under, will that perhaps hinder the market a little bit, you think, in the crypto sector?
So okay, I think Tether is toxic. Bitfinex is kind of toxic. They're also connected to EOS, so I would get out of the coin. This ain't financial advice, but just from a human being perspective, I would get out of the coin EOS because that's tied into all those guys as well.
Yeah,
definitely. If your audience has any money in Tether right now or Bitfinex, get the money out, send it to a private wallet. If they're unsure of how to do it, I'm even happy to help them. They can get in contact with you and get them in contact with me.
Yeah.
But, I don't see that ending well for them. I've been warning people about that for a while. Weirdly enough, though, I was reading a thing tonight on Twitter by Bobby Lee. It's Charlie Lee's brother. He said if Tether goes down, it actually might make the price of Bitcoin rise.
Yeah, because people are going. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying he had his reasoning was because it won't be rising necessarily versus the dollar, just going to kind of rise versus Tether, but that's going to kind of transfer over into making it seem like rising versus the dollar. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Now another question on the stable coins. We have the USDC coming out from I think Goldman Sachs, the Goldman Sachs coin, I believe, and then you have Gemini's stable coin. So are these stable coins being positioned as alternatives to help, stable if the dollar happens to dip, you can go into these coins or whatnot? What are your thoughts on those?
Like the Gemini coin, I'm not a real trader. I'm a more just like I tell people, I'm not a crypto trader. I'm just converting money out of the old system and into the new system. But I do think it's good for the market overall because it just provides more, you know, honesty and integrity and more trust. So you'll see bigger money be more likely to get in. You know, Tether never had their books audited. Like they checked the bank account one day, and this whole theory is that they moved the money from the EOS IPO into this Noble bank account to prove that they had the assets.
Yeah.
So I think the Gemini stablecoin will definitely be like good for the market as a whole. I'm not into them though. Again, that's kind of like that's major league centralization. I don't have one crypto on an exchange. I mean, I get my stuff out of the exchange into the private wallets, you know, secure and snug within my own reach, as I like to say.
Yeah. Good one, my friend. I appreciate you, man. Well, thanks for calling in, John. I appreciate it, my friend. So John Moore, for those that might not recognize the voice, he joined me, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he's in the RTD Live Talk archive. So his information is there. He's on Twitter at John Moore or at Johnny Litecoin.
Yep, Jonny, Johnny Litecoin.
Yeah.
I'm on there as.
All right. So, John, appreciate you, my friend. Have a good evening.
Thanks a lot for having me call in.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, take care, guys. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Yeah, man. It's always good to get some extra thoughts out there. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. So, I see, so 0x project, ZRX, that's something that I have been keeping an eye on as well. And so I think, you know, it shot up to $1.10, about $1.10 on the news that Coinbase was going to add them. And then it dropped down to just as of yesterday or today, like 65 cents. And so, yeah, I the other day when it was like 70 or so, I grabbed a couple of them things. What do you think about? I think ZRX project will, you know, but just my opinion. I think because some of the Coinbase people are in it, they want to make money. So what better way to make money than to support your own project? So they're going to do the best they can to make sure it gets front page on Coinbase when it's listed. And so I'm curious as to. I know 0x was mentioned amongst BAT and a couple other coins, but was there a date as to when they're going to do it? Is it this month or next month or whatnot? And that's another thing. Like, you know, I look at the Coinbase, and so Ethereum Classic is right now it's under $10, and of course Ethereum Classic, you know, there's plans for Ethereum Classic in reference to their ERC-23 tokens that will be used and it's being developed. So a part of my thought process is that because Ethereum has saturated the market, they have their issues, scalability issues, and just, you know, just whatever issues it has. Ethereum Classic is the same exact protocol, same change, just a fork, no hype around it, but yet I think it was, I was looking at the holding position of one of these big wealth funds, and they had a majority of their holdings was Ethereum Classic. And so I'm thinking like they had a Ethereum Classic and no Ethereum. And so I'm thinking like, ooh, what do they know? And so it was a good 40-50% of their portfolio was Ethereum Classic. So this is a multi 6-7 figure type of, 9 figure. Yeah, this is like a 9 figure, 10 figure type of operation here. So I'm thinking like, whoa, Ethereum got something happening behind the scenes. It says XRP Bank Coin, I don't trust them. XRP, man, yeah. They rebranded themselves, and apparently they just released some type of platform or payment method that's supposed to be up and running right now amongst the banks. So it's going to get used. The banking system is going to support it. It's going to go up nominally. Do you want to get involved with it? If you got in earlier, then you probably did well. But do you want to get back in now? Yeah, I think like they say with all tides raise all ships. So I think this next rally, everything's going to go up. But I think over time, some of them coins that aren't really needed or being utilized for anything will fade away, and people are going to lose money on coins that have no true worth as far as it being utilized or having a strong community behind it. Check the community first. A community is what keeps things alive. So if it has a strong community, it's going to be utilized. Says 0x is just a protocol and could rise slightly, but not much. Yeah, Omni. But here's the thing with 0x right now, if it 70 cents, whatever it might be right now, I think it rose to 75, whatever. But its all-time high is $1.10 or something like that. So if it goes back to $1.10 or $1.50, $2, that's that's not a bad little gain there, especially if you got in earlier. Coinbase will add them more than likely. One by one rather than slowly. Too much pressure to the markets. Yeah. So the question is, do you? So in reference to Coinbase, since we're talking about cryptos, so right now there's 5: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Cash, and that's it. So 4. Yeah. So would it be better to add a bunch of small dollar penny stocks type things where you add 0x, BAT? What I want to see is some older proof of stake coins like Peercoin, Namecoin, hell, throw a little black coin in there. I like to see some of those boys on there. That would be worth seeing. Says Tron might be a good one. Other than just hearing a lot about it, I haven't really looked into the Tron like that and knowing that it's dirt cheap. And so one thing I enjoy doing is looking at projects with these type of, developments behind them, especially when they're in the pennies. And I look at them. And so here's another advantage I've noticed, another sidetrack. Here's an advantage of being able to do your own homework and research to where you can actually get into this market if you wanted to without needing a broker. You don't need a licensed financial advisor to be the mediator between you and your investments. And so it's all the risk falls on you. If you don't do your homework, or you play with too much that you can't afford to lose, you can lose it all. But if you know what you're doing, got some homework, do some homework behind it, you can probably come out a lot better. And then at the end of the day, probably feel better that you did your own research. You became your own financial advisor, if that's possible. But yet the difference between giving it to Wall Street and you doing it yourself. We're entering into a new economy, a new era anyway with this crypto sector. The idea of doing the old way where you got a targeted mutual fund account, you just deduct money from your check and then you expect to get it in 2050 or 2060 or something like that. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. It says Waves is on their coming. Yeah, Omni, you mentioned Waves a lot. I looked into it and actually I spoke. So I know a couple people who actually use that coin for some projects they have going on, and I think it's solid. I personally haven't looked into it much. I think it was about $3 right now, something like that, give or take. We got no need to keep PC on and running. For what it says, like a set it and forget it and let the transactions roll in. So you're for Waves, you're staking. You can stake Waves. Is a proof of stake coin that you. So that's another incentive. So if John was still on, that's another. John, quick question for you. In reference to the proof of stake aspect, where you can park your coins in a wallet and incentivize by allowing them to stake and to back up the network, wouldn't it be worthwhile to have Litecoin in that same manner where you can park it? And it forces people to want to save it, to where that adds another incentive piece to it, along with the privacy factor and things of that nature. So I thought that would be good, because you can't put your Litecoin in a bank and earn interest on it. So why not, let it stake in a wallet and be a part of the network and earn you a couple pennies back. So that's why I think that some of the things that's been implemented to cryptocurrency has a lot of solid features that has already intrigued more people than the banking sector. Because if you have your own wallet and you can park it and stake coins and earn 2, 3, 4, 5% interest, whatever, give or take the market, that's more than you would get in a bank account. And the third one is if you can send it between two people without having to let the world know what and how and when, that's another advantage. And so I'm thinking like that, those 3 properties right there are well worth messing with. And when one coin that came to mind when I was thinking about all that, those, properties that would be worthwhile having, is PIVX. What are your guys' thoughts on PIVX? It looks like this turned into a crypto talk. So we'll plan on talking about crypto. But what are you guys' thoughts on PIVX? It says, because I do like PIVX. I'm trying to get old Snappy on here. Says we got a new. Said, hey Mike, checking in from East Palo Alto, California. Less than a half a mile from Facebook headquarters. How you doing, my friend? I hear that the cost of living in that region is very high, given the fact that those Facebooks as well. I think the Facebook employees, I saw a video, they were on strike. And so they are saying how expensive it is in that region because of everybody making so much money and outpricing people with homes and whatnot. Says, what else we got? It says, I think you have to fork LTC to become a possible proof of stake coin. CGB was the first proof of stake coin, and that came after LTC. CGB. What is CGB? I'm not familiar with CGB. I don't know CGB. Trust me, I know. 1,500 light bill. So either than buying a 3 for a miner. Yeah, the mining aspect, I haven't gotten to that. Omisigo is on my list also. OMG. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, man. It's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff out there. So pivot is okay, but earnings not guaranteed. From my experience, I stick to the stuff that rolls in regularly, not by chance. But pivot to me is a chance staker. Omni, so you must be deep in the game. Okay, cryptogenic bullion. Cryptogenic bullion. I'm not familiar with that one. Is that a new coin? Yes, in my neighborhood. 10 years ago, you could buy a home for $200,000. Now, $1 million. Wow. Wow, man. Yeah, that prices a lot of people out. Because here's another thing is, if you buy that house for $1 million and the market corrects to what will be considered fair value at the end of the day, people are going to be well underwater. It's going to be, yeah, man. That video I did earlier in regards to you know, people's net worth basically being chopped in half, or what I believe could be 2/3 of your net worth being transferred out of your possession into someone else's, is the fact that there's going to be so many foreclosures and so much, you know, financial products going under that people are going to, oh man, being heavily invested in this old system as it's dying is going to cost a lot of people. CGB is one of the old coins. I have S9, S7, and GPO miners sitting around. Earn more staking, Tron, and waves. Interesting. I'll check into that. I will check into that. Yeah, man. The conversation turned into a crypto chat. I wasn't anticipating that. But as always, it's good to talk some crypto. And so here's another question for those that are crypto lovers. And so you know how people in the mainstream media are saying, you know, buy the stock dips, buy the dips, buy the dips. Should you buy the dips? Now, what will be, you know, say, for example, the market cap right now is, you know, 200 billion. What would be a drop in the market cap that would cause you to perhaps say, hey, let me not lose it all, but yet try to get out while I still can, type of thing. So basically Bitcoin, which leads the way, dropped to, you know, 2,000, 3,000. Is that, you know, like is that a buying opportunity, or is that a get the hell out of Dodge type of opportunity? I'd be curious to find out what you guys think, because I think it boils down to either you're in this for the long haul through the tests and trials, or you in it for the wrong reasons, chasing gains and stand the risk of losing it all because you're gonna freak out if there is a complete meltdown of all systems. I will keep buying all the way down. It's the answer for payments for the future. John, I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear you. Anybody else got any thoughts on that one? It says, I am in it for generational pass down. Interesting. Yeah, man. So the true lovers of crypto and the visionaries for what it can do for the future are in it for the long haul. That's love. That is dedication right there. Yeah, man, that's real talk. But anyway, people, it's been an hour. We've been on this boy for an hour. I'm about to dial it back. I thought I would just come on tonight and get your thoughts on Kanye West as well as the markets. And so here's a question to leave you guys with. Will the markets continue on tomorrow dropping? And could this set us up for some type of extended weekend where Monday turns out to be a bloodbath for real? Is these last 2 days just tremors, or are they the start of are they the start of something that's going to be a long-term thing for months to come? So I'd be curious to find out what your thoughts are. Will tomorrow we wake up tomorrow to more lows or what? Let me know in the chat, and then we'll sign off. And as always, if you guys are watching us, give us a thumbs up so more people can find out what's going on. And if it's informative, share this information with family and friends, or any other videos, because I think that the subject matter is definitely prevalent. And because when it comes to finances, money, the word dollar, D-O-L-A-R, will be a subject that will go down in history as one of the most misunderstood monetary units of history, because it's lasted so long, it's drained so many people of their wealth that, yeah, especially if we turn to a crypto society, people are going to be wondering, why did you use paper in the first place? But we got a caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Oops. I'm sorry. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Gerald. I'm calling you from Canada. Remember me? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Gerald. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Listen, I called in to say this because you said something.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to type it because you said about the mortgages and everything is going to collapse.
Yeah.
Okay, let me kind of, I figured this out the other night, and it was in my sleep when I woke up. I'm saying, well, I be damned.
Mm-hmm.
This is what this is all about. First of all, they hate it. They trying to rebunk that Constitution. You always heard that they, trying to redo the Constitution.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. So the founding fathers are really not the founding fathers of this country, but these people who wrote that Constitution were called the Moors.
Mm-hmm.
So these people that are in economical power, they really don't like us because we have something that nobody else in the world has. That's economical freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And then the banks turned around, the J.P. Morgans and those people, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, they turned around and did that dirty deal at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turned around and gave us promissory money.
Yeah.
And I just found this out from another show that's called High Frequency Radio.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's let me look at my memory, the RRC, Federal Reserve Act, Article 12, maybe, Section 114.
Mm-hmm.
There is no money. So you have basically tricked us into your promissory gains, and now they're upset at people like yourself who are basically talking now economics because it wasn't about economics. It was about other things we talked about.
Yeah.
And this is why the reality shows and all of that sick-minded stuff is on TV, and this is why I always try to come to you because at least you're talking about finances. Crypto might be a way out. The only scary thing about crypto, and I got some.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm sitting pretty good. The only thing about crypto is they control the switch of the power. They can turn the grid off. And we still now in the dark. So we're in a hell of a situation as far as mankind. Because color, I said it earlier, Reverend Ike said this, and I remember this back in the day. He said there's only one color, and that's the color green. And I thought, like, that's the most absurd thing I heard. And now it's like 40 years later, and I'm like, damn, he told the truth.
Yeah.
He told the truth.
Yeah, he lived through some things to come to that conclusion at that point, and it took you, as you said, 40 years. So I realized that that we got political parties, red, blue. I'm like, that's all a sideshow. The primary issue is what's holding on up, and that's the green, and that happens to be our monetary system for now. So yeah, if you can see through all the issues on the surface and realize who's the ones that's funding everything behind the scenes, those are the ones you want to get at.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
man.
we're in the loophole. So again, love your show, man.
Appreciate you.
I'm gonna let another caller call. Keep calling. Everybody in the chat room, what's up?
I appreciate you.
I'm going back to listening. Okay.
All right, my friend. Have a good one. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, man.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, man. That's real talk. Yeah, man. It's great to be able to, just have an epiphany or just having an aha moment where you're like, oh man, like you start putting things together, and that's one of the things about being able to, have a chance to share your thoughts. You come up with an idea, you can share it, Because Gerald, you call in, you share some thoughts, and then it can trigger something to somebody else, and then they can go on a tangent of thinking about things, and then they can share with somebody else. And so we're educating one another by being able to share, you know, our own experiences and whatnot and perceptions of the world. So great stuff, man. Great stuff, great stuff. But people, once again, it's 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is time to say goodnight. It's been fun as always. I'm going to try to come up with some news tomorrow. And definitely keep an eye on what's happening. You guys do the same. If you hear of anything worthy of reporting about, make sure you leave a comment at the bottom with the article, whatever it might be, or shoot me an email at admin@rethinkingthedollar.com, and we can definitely get a news story out there. But other than that, as always, give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on what works best for you. And then we're over here on Patreon. If you want to support the channel, I would love if you have support, or on Bitcoin or whatnot. You guys want to be a blessing that way, feel free to do so. It definitely helps me and encourages me to keep doing what I do, because of course, you know, on a monetary side, you know, the more I talk about issues that are relevant, you know, YouTube is not too happy about that, and they make sure I feel it. So, but anyway, I'm gonna keep going because I enjoy it, and this is my way of expressing myself, so I enjoy it, people. Anyway, be safe, have a good night, and I'll see you guys later.